Walking alone is a way to ease your mind. But what would you do about the shadows that lurk behind? Don't be afraid of the dark, for this is Tales from Around the Campfire. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 3 of this exciting um, campfire reunion, right? I guess I could say that. So, hopefully, you guys are having a really great day today. And before anything, I want to thank you guys for, coming to this the campfire up in the cliffs. You know, it's a beautiful night tonight, and the fire is warm. In other words, so yesterday, right, we were reading about cryptids and what else? Monsters, right? True stories of monsters and cryptids. And I failed to mention yesterday, but everything I read, uh, I'll leave the website on the description down below if you guys want to read it for yourselves. So if you guys want to follow me, like follow with me, you'll read. Or if you guys want to, read it for yourselves, you can do so as well. So without further ado, we will continue with this. We will continue with this website. It's called liveabout.com, and and the in the article it's called True Stories of Monsters and Cryptids. The one that we were reading yesterday, because there is a lot more, right? So this article, I believe it was written by Stefan Wagner, and I forgot to mention that it was updated on January 10 of 2018. That was just last year. Okay, so yesterday, what did we read yesterday? We read Cornfield Creatures. We read Forest Cryptids. We read the Prime Hook Swamp Creature, Florida Sea Monster, the Mothman, and the Kitsune, and as well as the Invisible Sprinting Humanoids. That's where we left off. Oh, and I forgot to mention again, the Invisible Sprinting Humanoids came from Cassandra J. This story is called Red-Eyed Roadside Cryptids. The following happened in Vidor, Texas on June 20th of the year 2000 at around 1 a.m. I just got off work and I was headed east on the road. There was a 90-degree turn, and at times you have to watch because cattle might be out and on the road. That morning, that's what I thought that happened. No one else was on the road, but I saw red eyes that would look at the truck's light and look down over and over. And I knew something was not right. I was driving on the left side of the road when I got close. I noticed that this red-eyed creature stood about 5 foot tall and sported black hair all over his body. I stopped the truck and I got out my spotlight and shined it on this creature. It seemed like forever, but I know that it was only a few minutes. This creature raised its arm above its head and let out a terrible scream that I had never heard before. It turned around and went behind the house and left. I have heard this sound before when I lived in Teal Road in Orange, Texas. Just a few miles from this location, I have traveled this road many times hoping to see this creature again, and never have I. I'm told this creature is related to Bigfoot. The story was by Britton J. What did I say? What did I say yesterday about Bigfoot? Nowadays we have the iPhone 20, I believe it is. I don't know, with like 30 cameras, and each camera has like 200 megapixels. I'm pretty, or like 2,000 megapixels. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can capture the specs of Bigfoot at night. Right? So I'm just saying, if you're on the road, you know, just get your phones ready. Get your not very expensive phones with very good camera quality because a good camera will cost you a lot. More than the iPhone, I believe it's like 1,000 something. I wouldn't drop that money, you know what I'm saying? Because your boy is broke. But that's just me. I'm saying, get your cameras ready, cause I want to see Bigfoot. All right, send that over to my Twitter. I'll give credit where credit is due, like I always say. This next one's called Bizarre Australian Creature. I'm not entirely sure on the exact date of when this happened, but it would have been around 1999, maybe in spring or summer, somewhere around there. Living in Australia, you're bound to see strange things from time to time, although most have an explanation behind them. But this is different. I was young at the time, probably 9 or so, and my family was having a barbecue in the backyard of our home. We were all sitting at this table in the patio eating and talking, not really paying attention to anything surrounding us. Suddenly, I heard a plop noise coming from the leaf cover in the garden along the back fence. I immediately turned and looked to see what made that noise. To my horror, I saw a small blue creature looking at me. Then it ran to the shrubbery. It was about 15 centimeters, 6 inches tall on all fours. It didn't have any toes that I could see. Its face was vertically oval, shaped with small black eyes, a long, protruding nose, and a grimacing mouth filled with almost needle-like teeth. The outer of the face, the outer of the face was dark blue, sort of like a mane, but it looked hairless. The rest of the face and body was light blue. The best I can describe the body is like that of a lion, except with short legs and no tail and less sculpted. I looked at my brother and he said, "What was that?" He had seen it too. When my mom called us down, she took my brother and me to separate rooms of the house and got us to draw what we had seen. We both drew exactly the same thing. I was terrified of the rest of the night. To this day, I still don't know what that creature was, what I have seen, but it still gives me the creeps. Jessica C, and it was edited by Anne Hamilstein. Sometimes it happens, you know. You get to see, you get to see a thing out in the wilderness, and it spooks you. Even in the back of your home, you think you know everything, you know, every inch of your house. You think you may know, you know, every blade of grass, but all of a sudden something strange happens and you don't know what it is. We're still in the Live About page, liveabout.com website, but we did find another article on paranormal and ghosts, and these are shadow people encounter true stories, and also by Stefan Wagner. But this one was updated this year on May 21st, 2019. Now, the way I'm seeing this is just like a two-sentence story, you know. And I like these because they're short, they're simple, get to the point real quick, and we can knock these off real quick, right? So here we go. This one's called Childhood Shadow Fears. My bedroom door would have moved on its own, and so would some of my books. Also, I would hear strange footsteps and voices calling my name. You know, maybe, you know, maybe we all hear things, and maybe it's our mind just trying to occupy some space. You know what I mean? Just like when you jerk when you go to sleep, like your mind is telling your body, hey, Are we good? That's that's what I read. Okay. Clumsy shadow person. Tabby saw a shadow thing leaping around her boyfriend's room. It even knocked over a lamp. God, what a jerk. Faceless predator. At first, Don Danielle Danielle hears a jingling noise and sound and thought there was a dog with a collar. But when she got a better look, it was no dog. Ooh, that is that's scary. It's like it's like those stories where they say that I hear a cat, but I remember I have no cat. That's something else. Hallway Shadow Man. Petra, a kindergarten director, was working when she saw a shadow figure walk through the hall, looking at her. Haunted by shadow people, Amber's doing her homework when she got that feeling that someone is watching her. And then, haunted by Shadow Man, Megan heard someone walking outside her window, and when she looked out, a tall, dark, solid looking shadow was staring right back at her. Haunted by the Shadow Man. In Godfrey, Illinois, Amber would see small, black, human like figures disappearing to the wall. Intelligent black fog. Lizzie was trying to nap when she saw a misty black fog that she believes was intelligent. It was looking at her. Muscular shadow manstalker. Maurice saw a muscle-bound shadow person peering in his windows, in his kitchen window. It was probably Dio. I'm just saying. Mysterious black ball. There was something watching me, just one on the other side of my blanket. I could even hear it breathing just inches away from my face. And the last one we're gonna read is called Visions and Voice. A blue shadow person in the shape of a little kid is seen. It is that is all too interesting. Very interesting indeed. Cryptids and monsters, right? I mean, do you believe in them? Do you believe in the monsters you hear? You know, do you believe in the cryptids that people are telling about? What about the stories that we've been reading so far? Do you believe in them? Do you believe in anything at all? Maybe the people that believe they don't really get attacked because that we believe, right? And the people that get attacked are the ones that are still skeptical. Who knows? You know what? Let's go away from the horror that is cryptids and monsters, and we're gonna be reading a couple stories here in this website called storyberries.com, right? And I believe this is a kids website, right? Um, it looks like it, right? I mean, like I said, you'll be having the same link down below in the description so you guys can read it for yourselves because these have pictures on it, which is pretty nice. It actually looks like a little kid's book. This one's called Under My Bed. Story by Story Weaver. There's a tiger under my bed. Luckily, Mom knows what to do. I wake up at night feeling thirsty. I want to get some water. I start looking for my slippers under the bed. Oh my, there's a tiger under my bed. Now what should I do? Should I call Ma? Or what if the tiger roars? Should I go back to sleep? Well, I'm not sleepy anymore. Then someone turns the light on. Ma is standing at the door. What happened, darling? Did you call me? Asked Ma. I point towards the tiger Ma bends and pulls the tiger out from under the bed. Hey, this is no tiger. This is my thick yellow and black sweater. Its button shines like a tiger's eye. I got scared for nothing. Ma gets me some water. Now I will sleep and dream about real tigers in the jungle. The story, pretty much says that, like, not everything you see or not everything you hear is what it's meant to be. You know, our minds are super active, right? So if we hear a crackling in the distance, we start thinking about the bad things, right? We just gotta wait it out, and let the fear or wait, flight or fight kick in, right? I mean, it's up to you. Do you wish to fight another day, or would you go down where you stand? In other words, I don't know. Let me take this time by saying thank you guys for coming. I really do appreciate it. It's the middle of the video. It should be the middle of the video, and just wanna thank you guys. I'm thankful for y'all who are listening. If you like stories, you like hearing them. And I like reading them. It's fun. So uh, thank you. Okay, I can't express my gratitude a lot as much as I want to. If I could, I would give every single one of you a big old hug. You know, but also I want to talk about how not to play with your phones when you drive. Hello, what? You've been saying this for the past 3 episodes. Actually, for the past 2 episodes. This is the third episode. Listen, it's a real thing. It's a real nightmare. It's a real horror story that a lot of people play with. You know what I mean? Don't play with your phones. I trust me. That phone call can wait. That message can wait. Oh, but my boss is calling me. Blah blah blah. If your boss is calling you, he or she will know that it's more. Your life is more important than the meeting at 3. You already know that you have a meeting. You're responsible. You'll go to the meeting before 3, right? Right. Okay. If it's your girlfriend, she knows that you're driving. Why is she calling you? Why is she tempting you? Come on. If it's your boyfriend, the same thing. Why is he calling you? Why is he tempting you? Don't do it. Right? I have a friend that he drives. He works, right? And he always tells me, oh, before he leaves, he's like, oh, I gotta go to work. All right, cool, man. Have a safe drive. I don't call him. I don't text him, dude. Get safe. Like, jeez. Texting and driving, talking on the phone and driving is an actual horror story that a lot of people live in, right? Because you don't know the outcome, and do you really want to test fate? Do you really want to test your luck? In other words, do you want to see where you would end up? I mean, I can guarantee you this much: if you hit and run somebody, you'll end up in prison. They'll eventually catch you, end up in prison, pay a fine. Then what? You know. So don't test it. Leave that horror story for me to read. So, you know, don't don't text and drive. Don't do anything. You have somebody with you. Um, Tell them to read you the text or answer the phone call. Put them on speaker so you can be focusing, both hands on the wheel. If you're driving a manual, it's more power to you. But don't 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 do things that you're not supposed to while driving. Alright, we good? We good? We cool. So from that little story that we read about the tiger under the bed, we go back to the horrifying creatures. All right. So this other website is called Listverse, and the article's called "Top 10 Horrifying Monsters in Literature." All right. Flamehorse, I believe that's the person who edited the article, and it was updated on June 17, 2014. All right. And this first one we're gonna read is about the giant squid, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, by Jules Verne. Captain Nemo's underwater ship Nautilus is equipped with the world's most advanced weaponry for the 1800s, including electrified bullets. But near the end of the novel, the Nautilus is warned by a school of uh, pul- pulpis, which is the French word for octopi. Um, it is almost always translated as giant squid because one octopi. I can't read French. I do apologize. One octopi in particular becomes entangled in Nautilus uh, propellers, and the screws has to go topside, and the crew has to go topside and battle with it with an axe, harpoons, and knives. Verne never gives the squid size, but implies it. One of the most animals, only 6 feet long, would have tentacles 27 feet long. That would make a formidable monster. While battling it, the squid manages to grab one of the crewmen and drown him, then devoured him before the others chop off its entangled tentacles and drive it away. The real horror of this monster is that Verne was always interested in being realistic in his science fictions, and giant squids are real. Of course they are. We now have a photo. We now have a photographic evidence, and the largest species is believed to be at least 40 feet long, with the muscular strength to crush a small schooner, 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 like a tin can. Its tentacles are lined with serrated teeth and sharp hooks that can slice human skin like a razor. They have the largest beak of all the animals, and large and strong enough to bite off a human hand. The largest recorded specimen weighed at around 1,091 pounds. Uh, what are they called? Giant squids. They're real. Haven't you seen Animal Planet or Discovery Channel? Dude, they're huge. There's some like videos on YouTube as well. You know, that is that's something else right there, man. Whew. This thing, I love the sea. I love it. I love the smell of it. I love the sound of the waves. But I don't think I would swim in the ocean. Period. Yeah, I know how to swim. I just wouldn't do it in my personal opinion because one, yeah, we know that there's a lot of like sea creatures in there, but you don't know what's gonna be on top of of the ocean. You know what I mean? Sharks, squids, giant squids. Dude, in land you can outrun them, but in the water, you're pretty much just waiting to be eaten. Let me just say that. This was called the Minotaur Greek mythology. The Minotaur, okay. The Minotaur is a cross between a human and a bull, and the stories of its creation is a lot of fun. King Minos had a wife and queen named Pasiph- Pasiph- Pasiphae, Pasiphae, whom Poseidon cursed with lust for a giant white bull. He sent to Minos Island, Crete, Pasiphae, uh, would dress provocatively and saunter past the bull, but the bull didn't care at all. So she whined at her husband until he ordered Daedalus, his captive engineer, to build a huge hollow bowl for Pasiphae to climb into. She did so. They wheeled it into the bull's pasture, and he promptly had his way with her. Their offspring was minus. Okay. Their offspring was so monstrous and evil, devouring every human he caught. He got caught in his hands. So Minos ordered Daedalus to construct a giant labyrinth in which the Minotaur will be housed and unable to escape. In order to keep the Minotaur from trying to find his way out, Minos ordered 7 men and 7 women thrown into the labyrinth every year to keep the Minotaur content. The Minotaur is finally killed by Theseus, who uses a ball of thread given to him by Aridne to find his way out of the labyrinth. I do apologize if I did butcher the story, but I'm not too big in Greek words, right? So all these names except for Poseidon just passed through my head. So pretty much, in conclusion, this story is about a woman who was cursed by Poseidon to have lust over an actual bull. What? Excuse me, what? So Poseidon, you monster! Jesus Christ, why would you do that, man? I mean, listen, that bestiality thing is a real thing as well. I don't, I don't find that pleasant. That is bad to see. That is horrible, man. The Minotaur. Dude. This is pretty much one of the versions of many on how the Minotaur was made, right? But this version is, ooh, it is, it is bad. It is bad. We're moving on to the story form of the Wendigo Aloquian mythology. Now here goes again. I do apologize if I do butcher names or saying in this story, and I'll try to summarize it as best I can at the end of it. One of my leasters favorites, the mythos surrounding the monster varieties with each tribe of the Algonquian language, among which tribes are the Cree, Ojibwa, Montagnais, and others, is as cited on Wikipedia, is the Ojibwa described of the Wendigo. Here comes the words. Gaunt to the point of emaciation, its is its decided skin pulled tautly over its bones, with its bones pushing out against its skin. Its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets. The Wendigo looked like a gaunt skeleton, recently disinterred from the grave. What lips, what lips it had were tethered and bloody, unclean and suffering from the suppurations of the flesh. The Wendigo gave off a strange and eerie odor of decay and decomposition, of death and corruption. The Wendigo is a horrifying cannibalistic apparition that devours humans and can assume their form in some of the tribes' variations of the mythos. In all Algonquian tribes, any human who resorts to cannibalism will turn into a Wendigo forever. The best part of this mythology lies in the Abenaki tribe of Maine and eastern Quebec. They feared the Wendigo because it would attack sleeping campers at night out in the wilderness. And Maine and Quebec have some very wild wilderness, and cook and eat them feet first. Everyone in the area would hear the victim's eerie distant screams. Wow. I mean, okay. I love Native American uh, folklore as well. You know, it's very interesting because if you dive into it, it just takes you somewhere else. The Wendigo is no exception. I mean, I'm terrified of the Wendigo. First of all, cannibalism is not right. Like, have you smell what burnt skin smells like? Like, or hair? Like have you accidentally touched like a really hot pan, and you burn yourself real bad? It smells bad, right? Or let's say you're lighting a candle. Next thing you know, your hair gets caught in the fire. You brush it off. It smells nasty. All right. One, two. Why would you eat humans, man? Come on. You not have one option. You have a lot. All right. That's what I'm trying to say. You have pig, beef, chicken. What is it? The bird, any type of bird, I guess. Duck. You have a fish. You have a lot of meat around the world that you can season up and taste 20 times better than human. Let me just say that. I'm just saying. And it smells better too. Don't resort into cannibalism, people. I don't want to see you guys. Um, uh, I don't want to see you guys be turned into Wendigos. Please. Scary. Very scary. This one comes from Norse mythology. Fenris. Or Fenrir. Fenris or Fenrir is a colossal, shaggy black wolf, the offspring of Loki, god of mischief. According to the Heimskringla and the poetic and prose Hades, Fenris will attack and kill Odin himself, the king of the gods, during Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the Viking Armageddon, during which time every single god and goddess will fight and die in battle. Almost all human beings will be destroyed in the turmoil, and the universe itself wiped out and recreated anew by the All Father. Thor, god of thunder, will meet the cosmic Midgard serpent Jor Jormungand. Mungard. This is so hard. Uh, who encircles the entire world and bide his own tail, which I guess the infinity thing, right? Uh, when he releases his tails to fight Thor, Ragnarok will begin, and he and Thor will kill each other. Loki will fight Heimdallr, the horn god of wisdom, and they will kill each other as well. Fenris, meanwhile, is a huge wolf with the taste of human flesh. He grows ever larger with each person he devours. Until the time of Ragnarok, he is the size of a continent, and the whole world. His gaping lower jaw drags on the ground, while his upper jaw touches the sky. He fights and defeats Odin, then swallows him, whole and alive. Then Odin's son, Vithar, rips Fenrir's jaw apart and impales him. In some version of the mythos, Fenris eats Odin and then swallows the entire world before Vithar can stop him. Viking lore, so much fun. Indeed, Viking lore, it is fun. If you guys didn't know, Fenrir, the son of Loki. A lot of people like Loki nowadays because of the Marvel Universe. You guys should like Loki for who he is and not for the superhero or the antagonist, I guess you can say, that he was in the movie. The lore behind the characters are pretty interesting. You guys should read up on it. Pretty good stuff. All right, we have about probably like two more stories before we end the episode here. This one, this one's called Grendel, Beowulf, right? The first of the three major villains in the anonymous epic poem, he is described as a descendant of Cain, the world's first murderer, whose lineage God cursed with atrocious physical deformities. Grendel is never physically described in the poem, except to say that the horrific creature, very terrible to look upon. He becomes enraged, probably by the people's loud crowing every night in the mead hall of Herod, and proceeds to break in during the festivities one night and devour 30 men. So this is gonna be hard. King Hrothgar sends out word to Beowulf, the world's greatest warrior, to come and kill the beast. With Beowulf and his men lying in wait, Grendel breaks in and gobbles up several of his men. Then comes up to Beowulf and they fight to the death. Beowulf rips off his arm out of with his bare hands, and Gretel flees 9 days underwater to his mother's lair. Beowulf goes after him, kills his mother, and finds Gretel cowering in a corner and beheads him. Granted, Grendel's a total wuss once he meets Beowulf, but until then, there is no one in the world who can stop him. Wow. Let me just say this, man. You had a lot of girth, in other words, fighting these innocent men. Then comes Beowulf and just slaps you up a little bit, cowers behind your mama, dude. Beowulf is gonna do it. Beowulf is like Conan, right? You mess with his family, you're done, son. That's it. Nice knowing you. That was a good story too, by the way. We're gonna be ending it off with something we all know, right? Greek mythology, Medusa. Perhaps the purest entry in this list in terms of physical horror. Medusa is the daughter of the sea god Phorcys and Ceto. And in the original version of the mythos, she and her three sisters, also snake haired and ugly, always existed in their monstrous form. It is in its late editions, popularized by Ovid in his Metamorphoses, that gives Medusa the backstory of once being so beautiful that Poseidon raped her in Athena's temple. This infuriated Athena. She promptly transformed Medusa into a snake-haired hag, so hideous that even looking at her in the eyes will turn any living thing into stone. This is where the saying, so scared I was petrified, etc., comes from. In most versions of the mythos, Medusa is beheaded by Perseus, who watches her mirror image in his shield to protecting himself from looking at her. If you guys haven't seen, what is it called? The movie, something God. I forgot what's it called. Damn it. But it's a good movie though. It's pretty good. Backstory on how Perseus defeats Medusa. But in my opinion, like, come on, Athena, why? Poseidon's having his way with her. Why would you curse Medusa? Why wouldn't you go after Poseidon, right? Jesus Christ. This I don't know. I'm not a big fan of lies. In other words, like for example, the witch hunt, right? The the uh, the massacre. I guess you can say that, right? Where like a lot of people were killing innocent women of becoming witches. Come on, dude. Jesus Christ. Why would you do that? Nowadays you can't just go off and be like, oh look, she's a witch. They ain't gonna do anything now. But why would you do that back then? It's just, I don't know. I don't know. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, anything I want to share with you guys, I'll definitely post it there. But if you have any stories that you guys want me to read, send them over on my Twitter or post them on the description down below. I will definitely read it and give credit to those. To pretty much tells me, you know what I mean? Like my brain's going numb right now. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's that's that. I mean, you tell me what to read, I'll read them and I'll give credit where credit is due. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know. 15 episodes could be a relief for me because a whole month, I mean, I would do it, but I will run out of stories. So I think 15 episodes is pretty good for season 1, plus the Halloween special as well. So when dusk settles in and the moon begins to quell the sun, remember to always look behind you. Until the next one. Peace out, everybody.